up, everybody? Today I'm here to talk about the book of Boba Fett. So this will be my spoiler-filled review. So if you haven't seen the show yet, well, you should watch this video just after you've seen the show because I will be discussing spoilers. And before I get started, I just wanted to say it's been a while since I was able to record, and that's because I've been moving, traveling for work, so it's been really hard to keep up. But now I'm settled for a couple of months at least, I think. So here I am. Let's talk about the book of Boba Fett because I really miss being on YouTube. So what did I think about this show? Well, first and foremost, I gotta say that I was very concerned about the book of Boba Fett, mostly because Boba Fett has been that character that was always very mysterious, and sometimes it's good to leave it that way. But, you know, when we saw him back in The Mandalorian and he was just so badass, I was super excited for this show. However, I gotta say that after finishing the entire show, it wasn't exactly what I expected, because first and foremost, Boba Fett was just not as badass as he was in the episode in The Mandalorian, and I thought that was a little bit of a letdown. He was still badass, but he was more badass in the episode on Mandalorian than he was on his own show. Not to mention that the story itself was okay when it first started with the whole background with the Tusken Raiders. I thought that was kind of interesting. Okay, that's fine. But at a certain point in my way of seeing, it was just dragging too much, and Boba Fett was just no longer such a badass. And I don't know how to explain, but only comparing him with Mandalorian, with Mando, because here's my problem. The first 3 or 4 episodes was kind of dragging, and then when the Mandalorian shows up, the show really went from a 5 to a 10. You know, that first episode when Mando showed up, he was just slicing people in half, you know, wielding the dark saber, and it was just like brutal. And I was like, whoa, and this is the Boba Fett show? But it felt like Mando took the spotlight. So, I mean, that's not really a complaint, but that I guess it is a complaint, because in my way of seeing, the book of Boba Fett wasn't really about Boba Fett. It's not that it wasn't about him, but the story that involved him wasn't as compelling or as interesting as when Mando showed up. Of course, because we are so into Baby Yoda, we're so into Mando, I just wanted to see them. But at the same time, so I don't think they did a good job of making the Boba Fett story as compelling. To the point that when Mando showed up, I know it was one of the best episodes. I think it was episode 4 and 5, no, 5 and 6. I don't really know the numbers, but that doesn't matter. What matters is that when Mando shows up in that episode, it was all I could care about. I didn't even remember about Boba Fett. So that was the biggest issue. Then we had another episode that it was a complete surprise for me. Mostly because, you know, this is something that at the end of The Mandalorian, we saw Luke Skywalker walking away with baby Grogu, or Baby Yoda. It's always going to be Baby Yoda for me. Grogu is a weird name. But anyways, he is walking away with him, and everyone was just so excited. Everyone was in tears. We saw Luke Skywalker the way we wanted to see him. And he takes Grogu and walks away to train him to be a Jedi. So I thought that obviously we would see Grogu, of course. We would see Mando. And I would, you know, I was sure they would reunite, but I thought this would happen only in the Mandalorian season. And it was such a surprise to see Mando going to visit Grogu right here in the book of Boba Fett. That episode was really awesome because we got to see, you know, a little bit of Luke Skywalker, Master Luke Skywalker training Grogu. And of course, it was the biggest episode. I thought it was just so good. The CGI was just so great. I couldn't believe it. You know, they hired the YouTuber that fixed The Mandalorian, right? This is being proven and all of that. And you can tell that the improvement is just like, it went up. If it was like a 10, it went up to 100. It was just so good. I was very impressed. It really felt like Mark Hamill, you know, all the way back from Return of the Jedi. I just thought that, you know, that episode was really special because we got to see, you know, a little bit of Force powers and Grogu training. Obviously, it was kind of a short training. It was a little bit sad to see at the end that he would have to choose either the Jedi or Mando. And I understood when Luke Skywalker told him, for you, a short period of time is just, a lifetime for somebody else. So it makes sense that Luke would advise him that way. But one of the things that got me thinking is that Luke Skywalker would have been a different Jedi. He was not trained as in the old generation. He was not part of that legacy anymore. He already had a new way of being a Jedi. First and foremost, he was trained much older. Second, he did have attachment, with his friends and his father. I mean, it was a whole story of attachment that made him basically save Darth Vader. So I was very surprised when they went to the route here in which he's still going with that, oh, you can't have attachment and all of that, because we all know that doesn't work. And the sad part about all of this is that I thought The Mandalorian, the Book of Boba Fett, the new stuff that Dave Filoni and Dave Filoni and Favreau are doing are basically erasing all of that stuff with the sequel trilogy, because that is just not good. That story isn't compelling. It left me heartbroken. I don't even want to think about it, nor do I want to watch those films. I thought that was such a disservice to George Lucas and to the franchise, and I was really expecting that this would kind of retcon or at least just stay away from that crap. But it seems like they're writing Luke Skywalker into becoming that hermit. We already saw the construction of the temple, which is fine, but oh my god, how I wish they would just do some sort of like a multiverse or going back in time or anything that wouldn't let Luke Skywalker be the last Jedi Luke Skywalker, because I just can't accept that. That's not Luke Skywalker. Basically, in my opinion, my biggest concern with the franchise is that they basically erased the Skywalkers. They made Rey a Skywalker, which she's not. She's a Palpatine. Don't even get me started. But anyways, it was awesome to see Luke Skywalker. I kind of enjoyed all the training, the way that he's a master, the way that he was training Grogu. I didn't like that he was so concerned about Grogu having that attachment. I understand that, of course, if you have something else in your mind, it's hard for you to focus. But I really think that Luke Skywalker would have been a different Jedi. I mean, why is he such a master? Why is his name so famous? Is it because of Vader? No, he must have done something different. And I actually was expecting that they would go a different route here, that they would, I don't understand. And Ahsoka, how awesome was to see Ahsoka and Luke Skywalker. That was just, all of this stuff was really awesome, but Ahsoka's kind of just saying the same thing. Oh, you're just... she also did not follow the Jedi rules. She had attachment as well. I mean, I was very confused with the whole situation, which they wanted to detach baby Yoda from the Mandalorian, not allowing him to see. I thought that was so sad, because I really wanted to see them reunite there, and I wanted to see Mando have a conversation with Luke Skywalker. I wanted to see something about the lightsaber. Who knows? The lightsaber? No, the dark saber. But that didn't happen. However, at the end of that episode, of course, Luke Skywalker gave him the choice, and he chose the armor, right? He chose to go back with Mando. Of course, that was foreshadowed throughout the entire show. Even when Mando was constructing his own, ship, there was a place there for Grogu. So all of that was already foreshadowed. So I had no doubt that he was going to choose. But it's really sad to see someone so powerful not being trained in the Jedi ways, or at least in the Force. It feels like what Luke did is just unlocked a little bit of what was already there. So maybe they could have some more action scenes with Grogu going forward. But I mean, he's still not prepared, I mean, we see at the very end the way that I thought the finale wasn't so awesome. I don't know. I just thought it was okay. It wasn't something like wow, like the end of The Mandalorian, for instance. That took my breath away. I thought the end of the Book of Boba Fett was all right. I like that they reunited. I thought that's amazing. But it really leads me to think, oh my God, they're gonna go they're gonna do Luke Skywalker hermit and the guy that just wanted to kill his own nephew, and all of that is just like, that's the part where I don't really like, and I just want to enjoy as much as I can of this version of Luke, because I don't want to get there. Honestly, don't. Also, guys, the worst part of the Book of Boba Fett was one of the episodes where we had this gang. And that was so disappointing to me, because that episode, I think it was even directed by Rodriguez, and I was very surprised because he's really good in action. But the action in that particular episode with that gang was awful. The gang did not look like anything like Star Wars. They felt like they came out from another movie. The costume design was awful, and they had these awful colorful bikes that did not fit into the Star Wars universe. There was a lot of memes and people saying this looks like Power Rangers, and I have to agree, it did look like Power Rangers. It was awful. I was really like, this is just like poor choice in design. I was really not expecting that, and I did not want to see Baby Yoda and Mando and Boba Fett along with that stupid gang. That was just like, what are they doing here? When after that episode, I was like, oh my god, I wasn't even that interested in continuing to watch the show, but obviously I had to, because I was gonna watch it anyways to review and all of that. And then we get to the Luke Skywalker episode, which was such a high note. It was such a great episode, but unfortunately, guys, it feels like they are going to try to explain the sequel trilogies. It's like they want to fix their era. We all know the sequel trilogies, they're very debatable. They're not even like the prequels. The prequels, they have their, some people hated it, some people loved it, but I feel like the sequels, it was just a letdown, major letdown. There's few people, of course there are people that like the sequels, that's fine, but we have to agree that the story was a mess. If you've been following the Star Wars saga, you would have known that they had no plan for those films. J.J. Abrams said himself they had no plan. Daisy Ridley said they had no plan. They're basically just throwing the story from one director to the other, and that's not how you do Star Wars. So to get Dave Filoni and Dave Favreau to try to just fix that here, I just wish that they wouldn't go there, But now we see that perhaps Kylo Ren will be the first student, and all will lead to hermit Luke Skywalker, and that makes me really sad, because honestly I don't want to get there, but I will savor this Luke that we have now. But that's it, guys. I guess that is my overall review of Book of Boba Fett. I thought it had its high notes, its lower notes, but I think the biggest issue with the show is that who was the star was Mando, even though this was called the Book of Boba Fett. I thought Boba Fett did not have a compelling story, not enough. It wasn't enough. To the point where, oh my goodness, everyone was talking about when Luke Skywalker, but of course, if you're gonna bring Luke Skywalker, that's all people are gonna talk about. And that's another thing that I don't understand, why they just give us, Master Luke Skywalker, and why does he have to make Grogu choose? Or, we don't know. It was very weird that we just got Grogu returning the way that he did. Maybe Grogu just said, I'll come back to finish my train, just like he did with Yoda. That is also possible, we don't know, but it seems like Luke was very clear that you have to choose one or the other, so I'm not sure. I guess we'll see more in Mandalorian, but that's not until the end of the year, so that's gonna be a lot of speculation until then. But anyways, guys, drop your comments down below, let me know what you think. I'd love to hear your thoughts, and thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.